Welcome back to the show. Now, there will soon be an investment analysis and finance training seminar with a focus on energy efficiency through the development of low-carbon refrigeration and air conditioning technologies in Trinidad and Tobago. Joining us today to talk more about this is the Chief Executive Officer of Devco, Mr. Lars Hargo. Mr. Hargo, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Good morning.
Now, before we get into the details about the seminar, who exactly is Devco? Can you tell us a bit about the organization?
Devco is a project developer involved in thermal energy business, especially district cooling technology and other type of sustainable energy technologies. We are based in Scandinavia in Sweden, but we have developed a lot of projects around the globe for the last 2 decades about.
And how did the partnership with TNT come about?
Well, actually, this project, the one you just introduced, is all about promoting and demonstrating sustainable, energy efficient, low carbon technology towards the refrigeration and air conditioning sector. And it is actually a partnership between the Global Environmental Facility, United Nations Development Program in Trinidad and Tobago, together with the Ministry of Planning and Development, and us. And we are assigned as an international expert in this field of sustainable energy.
Okay. And so the energy efficiency in RSC project, can you share some more about what that's all about?
Yeah, it's about demonstrating new technology, sustainable technology that is leading to higher efficiency in comparison with conventional rack technology, if I may call it so. And those initiatives has been a part of this project. It's actually been going on for more than 2 years right now. It's a 4-year project. And the whole idea is to, capacity building, but also planning and building demonstration sites for this type of technology. And that's where we come into the picture. It's especially the district cooling technology.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because what exactly is district cooling technology?
Yeah, well, I'm happy to explain. I mean, I've been serving in that area for almost 25 years by now, but this is actually, it's not rocket science. District cooling is about producing cold water in a central plant, and then that cold water is distributed normally in a closed loop pipe system to end users' premises or buildings. And the benefits with that is that it's high energy efficient system, and it also brings economy of scale.
Now, because of where we are located, is it that we need to pay more attention to something like this in terms of reducing carbon dioxide emissions and that sort of thing?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is definitely something that is highlighted in tropical warm climate, even though that the technology district cooling is quite an old technology. It's a mature technology with a lot of system in operation in US, Europe, Southeast Asia, but the Caribbean region or the entire LAC region is under development right now for this new technology, but it really fits into the environment, especially, by promoting this type of technology and services will have a great impact on global warming and the big climate change things that we are into right now.
Right. And then, so how can investors and project developers play a role in this project?
Well, I would say that the technology itself, it's not rocket science. It's pretty simple technology, producing and pumping cold water. But the challenge is, of course, to get lending agencies, investors familiar with the business concept, the business model and the business structure, and how to develop this type of new project. Because it's basically, it's energy infrastructure projects, and they requires quite some investments and long-term planning. So a part of this project is, of course, to be able to inform potential investors, lenders on how this can be done and managed in the environment of Trinidad and Tobago. And that's actually one reason why we are setting up these type of training sessions for this audience.
Yeah. And in terms of the average citizen, I mean, is it as simple as just taking off your air condition while you're home for a period of time, or is there more we can do to contribute to this as well?
Well, I will say there are different type of sustainable technology that can be adapted to the let's say the society in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm referring to district cooling. That is more into commercial buildings, governmental buildings, university campus areas, hospitals. It really doesn't fit into, I mean, your private home or my private home,
Yeah.
because it's just, it's too small. It has to be put in a bigger package in order to be efficient and competitive.
Right. So, I mean, since we're talking about this larger scale, I mean, what type of financial framework needs to be considered to get this implemented?
I think, first of all, what has to be done is to inform the type of business model and financing models that can be applicable to the environment in Trinidad and Tobago. And that what we have to do is to create a deeper understanding for investors, developers, or any kind of financiers that this is actually sound and good business to be involved in and to invest in. But to be able to do that, we need to explain and we need to discuss with those, let's say, local stakeholders, how we can fit into their agenda and make sure that we fill their targets and promises to their owners and investors.
Hmm. And as it relates to this seminar in particular, when and where is it taking place?
It's actually taking place already next week. It's starting with a full day session Monday, November 14, and in that session we're going to. Well, we hope that we have as many as possible lending agencies and these type of financiers participating in the event. It's going to be hosted in the University Inn in St. Augustine for a full day. We're going to follow up with a second training session already on Tuesday next week, and for that main purpose or that reasons, we're going to focus on developers and especially real estate developers.
Yeah. Now, in terms of who it's open to, can you tell us some of the people who can attend something like this? And of course, also, who are some of the speakers that we can look forward to seeing?
Well, everyone involved in the sector I just mentioned, or more than, I would be happy as many as possible can join us. It's for free. I mean, the only thing we are expecting is that people take their valuable time to come and meet us. And well, we're going to tell them the story or the district cooling journey, I will say. We're going to give brief introduction about the technology, the ways you can, produce and distribute district cooling. But we will especially focusing on business models, business structuring, financing options, and really deep dive into how to develop this business in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. And in terms of some of the speakers that we can see at the event, can you share some of the people who will also be, panelists and, doing presentations and stuff like that?
Yeah, I will be happy to do that. That will be, of course, the project management unit from UNDP, who will be hosting this event together with representatives from the Ministry of Planning and Development. And then I'm really looking forward to be there together with a couple of my colleagues to perform these 2-day sessions as well. So we can wait. Come to see you guys for this.
No, I mean, I know that you have been driving the point home in terms of energy efficiency and stuff like that, but if we were just supposed to simplify it and to explain cooling as a concept, how can we simplify it a bit further so people can understand the importance and significance of this?
Cooling as a concept or cooling as a service is a little bit different to district cooling, because cooling as a service is something that actually can be done for one single building or part of an individual building, actually that the provider build, operate, and maintain a cooling facility in your house or my house. And then actually you won't pay any upfront investment for that. Actually, you pay a monthly fee So the provider actually recovered the cost over time by periodic payments. District cooling is a bit different than cooling as a service, because district cooling is more that we take away cooling equipment in the individual buildings, and by doing that instead, we provide the service with cold water. So actually the building owners don't really have to, keep that equipment any longer, because it will be provided as chilled waters from the central system. So it's simple, it's very simple system, and it's actually very flexible and reliable too. So that's the difference between cooling as a service and district cooling.
Now, I know you would have seen this model work in different countries. Can you share exactly how it was able to benefit some businesses who would have, purchased the technology?
Yeah, I will say the big challenge is that, implementing the technology is simple. Implementing the business in the right way, that's the challenge. And I mean, there are different models depending on if you are developing this in Europe comparing to the Caribbean region. But I will say that there are so strong incentives and forces and opportunities to really do this in a warm climate like the Caribbean. So, I mean, a part of the training session, of course, we're going to share snapshots of existing systems in operations around the globe, but we really like to focus on, giving a kind of a deep description on all those developments going on in the Caribbean region for the moment, and really focus on them. I mean, exactly what's specifically going on in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. And is the technology going to be different depending on the company or business it's implemented? So, for example, is it going to look different if it's implemented in a hospital versus an organization versus a school?
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, it could be different depending on the stakeholders involved. And you also need to take in consideration some local conditions, being able to find, to tailor make the system and the business depending on, where to develop and construct it. So it's different case by case. It is.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting technology, because I know, for example, one of our aims is to achieve a reduction in carbon dioxide emissions of 15% by 2030. I mean, do you think something like this would help us to get to that goal in the upcoming years?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough challenge, no doubt about it. And district cooling can't solve it all, but it's going to be, a great contribution to that, to be able to achieve that goal. I mean, what we have seen during, for example, energy consumption for cooling purposes, that has more than tripled since 1990. And I just checked the annual growth on Trinidad and Tobago, and we're talking about, 8 to 10% increase annually for the rack sector. So this is really something where the district cooling technology can contribute to meet those, emission goals and climate goals in the future.
Yeah. And in terms of the technology itself, I mean, I know you said it's pretty simple, but for example, if a school has to implement this, is it that everybody's going to have to vacate? Something big is going to have to come in the building? I mean, what exactly is the technology going to look like?
No, I mean, the whole idea is that, these central facilities or the production facilities I talked about, the trick is, or the challenge is, of course, that they should be placed in an area, in a centralized area. So for the school or the campus area, I mean, it's probably going to be two pipes coming into the complex, into the campus. So the beauty with this is that we replace, noisy, bulky equipment, and those kind of factories won't be next to the schools. I mean, they are located in a certain allocated area for this. So that's one of the benefits with this.
Yeah. Mr. Hargo, finally, can we also say that cost is a benefit? I mean, is this going to be very expensive for businesses to implement?
No, I mean, everything has to have a sound business. There's no doubt about it. And I mean, the same goes for the Caribbean region. And I mean, as I mentioned previously, there are vast number of systems in operations around the globe. From where I am in Sweden, the market share is actually about 25%, 1/4 of cooling is provided by district cooling. So, I mean, it has to be competitive and sound in the end, no doubt about it. Otherwise, I mean, it won't fly.
Yeah. And finally, Mr. Hargo, if we need to get more information, is there a website address, any social media handles you can share?
Yes, of course, we can do that. I mean, we do have information about website that is actually tailor-made for this project on Trinidad, and I would be happy to share more information from us as well, from Devco. So
Right.
definitely.
And as it relates to audience members who are looking on now, for example, if they want to get more information, is there a website address you can share?
Yes, there is. There is. It's actually, I will say that you put me a little bit on pressure right now because I don't have it right in front of me.
We're actually seeing on the screen
I'll let you
something
know.
to email.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
So we're
I will
seeing the
do
email
that.
address
That's
on the
for
screen.
sure. Yeah. We'll do that. Definitely.
All right, no problem. Well, Mr. Hargo, let me thank you so much for just sharing with us a bit about, the cooling technology that you would have mentioned, and of course, all the best in the seminar that's beginning next week, Monday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And that was the CEO of Devco, actually, Mr. Lars Hargo, just sharing how we can cut back on our energy bills and encourage more energy efficiency. You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.
They say